Oh no, you left up the branding. Hello. That's Keck Omega and Sheshat's feet.
Bing, bing, boom, boom, boom.
This is the Estuaric Agency Astroturf Woodshed stream. I'm General Griswold Gaius Grim, your host. That's a comment from Theodore Malone with a little hand waving from the hive mind. Where do we go from here? I'm going to stay in the now. I don't know about you guys. We'll give you some savings throws right after some things. Okay, yeah, you're doing that and then that. Oh, if you missed me yesterday, it's because I was over on the Hello World with Gavin on the Randos United channel. Link in the description no one looks at. You know what I mean? Our AI surrogate duplicates. AI proxies based on ourselves, right?
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to feed it a prompt to get it to act. Like if you give it an honest prompt of yourself, it would then be able to reference that prompt and try to respond like you based on the prompt that you fed it. I would recommend Faith.
You know the most amazing thing about a faith of a mustard seed? You only need it in the now. I'm quite concerned that God might only exist in the now, which means all of our thoughts about past and future are in places where God doesn't exist. And like, we can't really make accurate predictions because of that. But Well, that guy said some things over on that channel, eh? Huh? I don't know why I can't find these videos. Cow made that one, I think. Let's see. Let's do those savings throws we do. I don't know. I don't know if you've never been here before. If you're a new person, what happens is I have these dice in my hand, right, and they represent survival or your will to survive, social or your social network, wisdom or the wisdom you've acquired over time, or heart, the power of your heart. I'm giving you a save versus the mind control that I use against on or with that I use on with and for the hive mind. And then also against all the advertisements you encounter in the course of your day. That's all mind control too. These savings throws are good against those. You choose between survival, social wisdom, or heart as the basis for how you're going to resist the mind control. I roll the die, and if it's over 10, the die that corresponds with your choice, then you take half damage for the rest of the show and the rest of your day. It's very fun. You don't have to participate, but if you do, you choose. Survivalist today with a 3. You're going to need some bonuses. Socialist coming in hot with the prime 19. Lovers of wisdom, you got an 8. Hard folks, you got an 8. Look at that. They're coming in together. It's weird how some dice pair up on some days. Whoa, looks like, speaking of pairing up, Indigo's pairing up with social with that prime 19 for today's episode.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny.
Meanwhile, if you missed me even more yesterday, you could have found me on the Saint Sartori's Just Chatting stream over on the Michael Sartori Michael Sartori YouTube channel, where these things happened. One guy at the church will do it.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. It's like I was thinking about there's out of the 870 churches around here, like coming up with some kind of letter or form or whatever to be like, hey, send me a representative to this thing I'm doing, and then just estuary protocol them all once they get there. It turns out that was sort of the inspiration for this Estuaric agency thumbnail you see here before you now. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal for making everything possible. And it also ties into the Astroturf Woodshed. So why don't we? Well, let's see. What minute is that? That's the 8th minute. Let's see what's at the 33rd, and try and remember to come back to minute number 8 later on. Here was minute 33. 6 hours ago, you're doing things all the time over here, and nobody even knows. Fences and guards for the tools and the trees.
Yeah, this one's a paid one, so it's a little.
Oh, well, let's see how far we can get without giving Mike any money.
So you know what? Here's look for the one. There's one.
Nope. You got one paragraph of my read along. Right. Here we go. A table saw is just about the most dangerous tool in any woodshop. The main thing that differentiates a useful table saw from a naked spinning blade is the fence. The fence allows you to make cuts straighter and more consistent. It improves both the quality and the efficiency of the saw, but it also introduces a new danger. If a piece of wood gets pinched between the blade and the fence, it can kick back, and the spinning blade will pick up and launch a board back at the operator at about 80 miles an hour. If it happens to a piece you are holding, it can drag your hand across the blade, causing permanent damage. something I have personal experience, not me, him. You wouldn't notice it if I didn't point it out, but my right index finger has a little bit of the corner rounded off. It's a constant reminder to pay attention. And now pay me
Let me tell.
for my
Oh,
attention
yeah.
by starting your trial. Oh, wait. Okay, that's it now, please. Did you know that on the Grim Grizz stream, if he's muted and talking, and you can't hear him talking, you can put the word mute or hearing or hey, we can't hear you in the chat, and you get the +2 to the next stream saves. But if you do that in hieroglyphics with like an ear or an ear of corn or some other symbolic representation of my mutedness, you get a +4 to the next stream's mind control saves. Now, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Casino card for the show, 4 of clubs. 4 of clubs. Now, as I was saying and you couldn't hear, special thanks to the Shadow Cabal who has made possible the Wisconsin Death Grift trip, where I give the assassins a chance to assassinate me on the road to Ixonia, Wisconsin, where Chad is going to put me in his basement. Those of you wanting that sort of update, it looks that we have here, we'll grab the link. It looks that we've made 99, or we've made it 99%. 99%, which means I can, I guess there'll be a coffee I can't have on the way back. Special thanks to everybody who contributed to the Wisconsin Death Grift. That will be happening this weekend. I understand we'll probably be broadcasting from the basement in Exconia, or however the hell you say that, if I'm not assassinated on the way.
I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
So, I didn't think I needed time,
The
but
list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room?
I want to cast Magic Missile. The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet.
I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile.
Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
where am I? There I am. Okay, I'm back. So this stream that we're doing. Oh, I was supposed to play this with the. See the power of the deep fakes, but it was me in the car, and I'm gonna be in the car. Don't assassinate the deep fake. I don't have that hand tattoo. Welcome. This is the Estuaric Agency Astroturf Woodshed stream, and I'm about to get to the Astroturf part. I think.
There is no agency. We want what's best.
9 of hearts is the blue church card of the show, and that's where I want to go because, okay, the AstroTurf that has been put in my mind by that guy AC over on X, because I wanted to follow that guy AC because I saw that he sponsors streams. sometimes streams that focus on this little corner. And like anybody who sponsors streams is my kind of guy. So, and he's talking about these astroturf characters, and apparently astroturf means artificially made popular, probably by non-existent three-letter agencies.
Slime! What? It's a river of slime!
Now, as part of the Defense Against the Dark Arts, it occurred to me that if we were learning Defense Against the Dark Arts together and astroturfing was a dark art, the appropriate thing to do would be astroturf this. Like, let's figure out what astroturfing is and simulate being an agency together and astroturf me in this show and see how that goes. And that's why the word astroturf ended up in the stream today, in the title, where there's the Astroturf Woodshed and the Estuaric Agency. Now, the Woodshed comes because the other day when I was looking, okay, this Estuaric Agency thing was originally intended to be a members-only video about getting serious. About getting more serious. And so I had searched for the estuary protocols or something in preparation of making this video. Making videos is now weird to me compared to making a live stream. Anyway, and but I did not make that video yet. I did talk with Edit Mike in the Just Chatting, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but as since I believe it's because of the search yesterday, this magical gem of the Woodshed was sent to me by our beneficent algorithm, and here's some of that. Here's some of that.
Yesterday, a friend called me the week before, wanted to talk to me. He'd been listening to my videos, listening to some of the noises I've been making about my concern about how COVID is going to impact my church. And yesterday pretty much gave me a trip to the woodshed. Now, some of you might not know what that idiom means. Ronald Reagan made it sort of famous. I'm sure it was before him. Basically, he said, I need to talk to you. And he's a friend that has been following me nearly from the beginning, following quite closely, has supported me through Patreon. And he basically said, you know, you guys are terrible. He's somebody who's got a lot of experience in the nonprofit and the business world. And he said, you know, you guys are terrible at the money thing. And Vanderclay, you have issues about it that you need to confront in yourself. And he was right. He said, you know, we've been following you along the line of your meanderings and your thinking and your yeah-butting and maybe this and aw shucks and all that. When are you going to stop whining and do something? You know, especially stop whining about the money. Get serious or shut up. And so I had a little come to Jesus moment with him yesterday. And so, yeah, it's time to get serious.
So the highlight for me is the idiom, of course, the woodshed, trip to the woodshed. You see how he rephrased it at the end there as the other idiom that essentially means the same thing, the come to Jesus meeting. And this is a level of friendship and trust that was established, the scenario in which iron could sharpen iron. And say, like, all right, I see you acting like you're doing that thing over there, but if you're going to do it, you'd be doing this. And you know you'd be doing this if you were going to do it, so why aren't you doing that? But, like, the level of intimacy it takes for a person to say such a thing to another person is one that, I don't know, I act like I have when I say that the Peterson cat, only asbestos of friends would actually confront him about those things, right? I don't know. There's some thoughts on coming to the woodshed, and there was the astroturfing part. We're going to get through this quick today, I think. First of all, Chad, I had a starred comment from you where it said, Anne is looking forward to meeting you. She's looking forward to meeting all of my strange internet friends, but you especially. Anne's his wife, and she's going to be above us when we're trapped in Chad's basement, I think. I don't know. But what other strange... I've heard CW Weeks will be in attendance, but I am completely oblivious to what other internet friends are going to show up. And you ask me this question, and my answer is like... I have a friend named John who got me to read George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones by saying, hey, dude, you reminded me of people in this book, like the Tyrion guy and the Jaime guy both. It's weird. Why don't you read them? And so I read those books. And similarly, there's nobody who I've ever read a book before that I've felt as resonant with as that caricature series. But that's... I also like Starscream a whole lot and The Absent-Minded Professor. So, yeah. Hey, Clint, good to see you. Hey, Mosley, glad you're here. You're a red pill. Ba-ching. He does have that wild... Oh, speaking of which, there's some other perhaps unfortunate news for the channel. At least there could be. It's the process was long and painful and deliberate, but it does appear that I have picked up some gainful employment being a UPS driver, maybe during the seasonal give packages to everybody's season, and that if it continues to proceed and not be hindered by a background check or something. That the streams will be shifting to evening streams in a couple of weeks. We'll talk more about all that after the if I survive the Wisconsin death trip. But there's some news. But the future is not set.
I don't want to know how things are to be. I want to exert action as long as I live, so that the sort of things which should, in my opinion, be, have more chances of being. If they're all set, it doesn't interest me anymore to see the year 2000 than it interests me to see the year 1000. The merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is not set. If they're all set, the merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is the area in which we can exert our will, exert our efforts, and try to validate our values. That is the merit of the future.
Oh, okay. Now, if I got this notion, and it's like it's high magic, and I don't. It's like from a dungeon master's perspective, I'm like a level 2 wizard trying to cast a level 5 spell, but I believe with the power of the hive mind, it can be done. I would like to target for a fringe encounter one Scott Adams, and the way I'm going to do that and invoke that is by telling you all what is on this card. What? Oh, I guess I have to dig it up in a second. But when I tell you what is on that card, that is the method of it's the bait, it's the hook we'll be using we'll be trying to hook his narcissism to reel him into a conversation to see if maybe he'd be interested in being going for brotherhood with the rest of us, the fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy, because Brotherhood of Evil Mutants was taken.
I saw her toss the kites on high above the birds about the sky, and all around I heard her pass like Lady skirts across the grass. Oh, wind a-blowing all day long. Oh, wind that sings so loud a song. I saw the different things you did, but always you yourself you hid. I felt you push, I heard you call, I could not see yourself at all. Oh, wind a-blowing all day long. Oh, wind that sings so loud a song. Oh, you that are so strong and cold to blow, where are you, young or old? Are you a beast, a field and tree, or just a stronger child than me? Oh, wind a-blowing all day long. Oh, wind that sings so loud a song.
All right, and now when I reveal to you what is on this card, you should know that if you act rashly and just run over to his Twitter and be like, "Hey man, I think you should talk to Grim," that it will probably spoil everything. And please understand that by what's on this card, I indicate that level of of respect with which we should approach this operation, this psychological operation into this other person's mind to get him on the show. It's a delicate thing. Please don't rush over there and blow our cover. But the hook is the following. Scott Adams is the Lex Luthor of social media.
I can't seem to get away from everything that's falling apart. If I had to make a wager, that it's 'cause I'm playing a part in the destruction of my life. In the destruction of my mind. Hopscotch telephone days are done. Please just drag me into the sun. Leave me there so I can try. Get cooked up and burnt alive. It's the destruction of my life. Starring as the villain is my mind. I can't seem to get away from everything that's falling apart. If I had to make a wager, I bet it's 'cause I'm playing a part in the destruction of my life. It's the destruction by my mind.
This isn't branding stuff, Chad. This is just Raj dropping some new. He thinks a picture of himself is sufficient enough visuals, but a really cool song about self-destruction. I like it a lot. Yeah, see, I agree mostly. He says we got to use the new Reframe book as a hook, and I'm like, so I want to help sell your book to a bunch of Peterson junkies, Scott. Why don't you come on the show? Here, let's try it. Hi, Scott. I'm Grim Grizz on the internet. I help community a bunch of post Peterson junkies, and I think they'd all love your book, and I'd like you to come and talk to me about it to them, and help yourself take whatever whatever your first initial negative impressions of this proposal are. Please reframe those into one that lets you come on the show to sell your book And also know I think you are the Lex Luthor of social media, and I say that with the utmost respect. Wait, no, I don't have a. Oh, God. Share this tab instead.
Screaming about algorithms. Well, yes, but people.
No, not to the.
A lot of the folks, talking about the social dilemma and all that kind of stuff. Screaming about algorithms. Well, yes, but people also self-sort among people who are like-minded. The greatest counterexample I have to the idea that Facebook is the one that's doing this is a Reddit, right? I mean, Reddit's algorithm is extremely simple. You join a group of like-minded people, and the like-minded people either upvote or downvote an article, and the upvotes get to the top and the downvotes go to the bottom, which tightens the echo chamber inside what you join. There's nothing else to it than that. Their algorithm is extremely simple. It's not AI. It's not driven to make you go insane. It's not driven to engage traffic. All it is just, do you like this or not? It's just the thumbs up, thumbs down. So the fact that there is even a thumbs up, thumbs down is a social algorithm that's baked into human minds, and it is, in my opinion, more powerful than any kind of Facebook algorithm that drives engagement that they could have.
The communities mold us, and we either gain status or we lose status, depending on whether or not we are participating in the groupthink of the community. The old model, which imagined that the person just sees the truth, when in fact, this truth is coming at them through the communities, filtering the communities, what is salient, what is relevant, all of this stuff. You can't but help participate in any of this, in any of this, in any of that. You can't but help participate, We either gain status or we lose.
When you're interacting with your Facebook feed, you have a series of things. You scroll past. You have the option to either like or share them. Same kind of thing for Instagram and all the other social media stuff. You have a feed of information. You decide whether or not to share this information. You decide whether or not to upvote this information. That's what a neuron does in the brain. That's what a neuron does in the brain. That's what a neuron does in the brain.
You can't but help participate in any of this, in any of this, in any of this.
So a neuron has a nucleus. The nucleus attached to dendrites. The dendrites get signals, just binary signals from other neurons. And then however those come in, the neuron has some kind of generator function inside of itself that evaluates that and decides whether or not to fire signals on the axon, and then that goes off to other neurons. That's what you're doing on your Facebook. You're behaving as a neuron in a brain. Things go viral. When things propagate through social networks, I mean, there's a lot of study on this. It looks kind of like a brainwave, right? It looks kind of like a brainwave, right? It looks like something that's passing through a brain.
We're a massive.
This means that the individual psyche is far from being safely synthesized. On the contrary, it threatens to fragment only too easily under the onslaught of unchecked emotions. While this situation is familiar to us from the studies of anthropologists, it is not so irrelevant to our own advanced civilization as it might seem. We too can become dissociated and lose our identity. We can be possessed and altered by moods or become unreasonable and unable to recall important facts about ourselves or others, so that people ask, "What the devil has gotten into you?" We talk about being able to control ourselves, but self-control is a rare and remarkable virtue. Sorry. I've created a thread on the Broken Clock Tower Discord in the Reaper's Hall in the Reaping Room for astroturfing. We'll be doing some research into that. We'll be getting back into the the Sin Monk Lion Dream Grip up. We'll get back to eating the lions after we eat prime rib with Chad this Saturday, thanks to the benefit and the generosity of the Shadow Cabal of production executives. Look, I've evolved the photo a little bit. I was going to make it so like the different pillars of the memberships on the YouTube get different colored embroidery on their fancy shoulders, and I've really cleaned up the card. It's now a hologram thing. It's a work in progress, much like me in the show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Astroturf Woodshed stream, also Estuaric Agency, which you will finally get back to now, Grim. Okay, there it was. There, no, and then you got to turn that. And then share this tab instead. I wouldn't mind showing it to all the people that are at churches around town. So
yeah. Well, that's it's kind of I mean, you could ride along with me anytime you want, but
you got one guy.
Yet.
You got one guy at the church who'll do it.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. It's like I was thinking about there's out of the 870 churches around here, like coming up with some kind of letter or form or whatever to be like, hey, send me a representative to this thing I'm doing. And then just estuary protocol them all once they get there. And we have a special 7 indigo bonus for Dr. Lenny for being the first person to say it out loud that I saw. All members of the channel, please award Lenny a 7 indigo by typing that in the chat. Congratulations, Lenny. And then send them home with the paintball for Jesus flyer. Because, like, I don't want to actually host an estuary, but I wouldn't mind showing it to all the people that are at churches around town. So
yeah. Well, that's it's kind of.
I don't know how much deeper we go into it, but his tectonic school project also would apply to this sort of thing. Is like, all right, I've been living on the internet with a bunch of people doing little weird projects, but I'm also in this physical location where there's not hundreds, but there's dozens of churches. There's almost as many churches as there are dispensaries. And it seems to me that if I could get probably 7 at a time from like the youth minister or some other yahoo from the church to all come together with the ones from the other churches and then make the estuary protocol conversation with them and then sell them the estuary concept and then say, hey, also save your kids from video games with this paintball for Jesus notion. But it's like I don't have this agency, this estuaric agency that says, all right, Graham, all right, if that's the thing you want to do in this town, we'll look at the town with you. Find a good place to host such an event, determine what you need to host such an event, facilitate that, send the estuary agent alongside with you to help conduct the training seminar for the thing. And there isn't one. I mean, there's the estuary hub that it is growing into a thing, but I guess this is me highlighting the need for us to branch Davidian salesmen in the local communities with the estuary internet concept. We've tested it in the field, and we've tested it at conventions. Isn't this the next level of where the estuary should be tested? And I guess now I'll play some more of Pastor Paul talking about his trip to the woodshed for a while.
It compelling was he had skin in the game. What skin do you have in this game? You know, my little YouTube channel has been a hobby, and I share my mental meanderings and what's on my heart. And for the most part, Living Stones has been supporting me, and many of you have supported me on Patreon and in other ways, and it's been wonderful. But COVID is forcing some things, and it's time to act. So one of the questions he asked me is, what do you want? Well, truth is, I want exactly what Jesus asked for at the beginning of the Lord's Prayer. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I don't want anything less. Some of you know my habitats always on between to the, An estuary is a partially enclosed coastal body of brackish water with one or more rivers or streams flowing into it and with a free connection to the open sea. Estuaries form a transition zone between river environments and maritime environments known as ecotone. Estuaries are subject to both marine influences such as tides, waves, and influx of saline water, and to riverine influence such as flows of fresh water and sediment. The mixing of fresh water and salt water and seawater provides high levels of nutrients in the water column and in sediment, making estuaries.
See, it's handy. It's handy because like the Christian folk have that living water metaphor that works for them in this situation. But the factual situation of our is more a multi-planar environment. The fact for me it maps most best to swampiness and amphibianness because like there's the frog self-identification and nobody talking because it's shadow matriarchy that the frogs exist because of the lack of princesses. Nobody talks, but it's like the children, us, and we're in cell now. That's the new phrasing I've come up with that's most appropriate. Is here we are in cell, everybody, but we're all here together. So woo, and. And thank you, Ups. It really helps. Lenny says, we want what's best for the general who have an interesting and entertaining trip. Yes, I'm working on I think I need to pick up a new phone camera mount before the ride to give you a better view. I'll have an hour or so in the Walmart while they check my tires and fluids for the trip. So we'll see if that won't be the excuse. I think the vehicle is of a late enough model that the government can hack and take over and drive me into a whatever, but that never happens to anybody. And living yays. The nomads is what I aim for, Theodore. A nomad. Okay, where were we? Nowhere. We were everywhere. We are all together here, and that's a good time for you to play the shanty. We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Just lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency. Yes, I remember now. See, I highlighted Lenny's talk because I wanted to say, hey, Lenny, I saw something I think is probably an undervalued gem, and it's just a hunch I have. It's like I smell gold in the hill in this one, and that's this conversation between Adam Omari, Roy Baumeister, and Michael Levin. If you guys aren't aware of it, he's the frog. He's the guy who tortures tadpoles. The frog-faced abomination man is in the top right there. That's Michael Levin. He's been on with Karen, but he's got this tiny little like Michael Levin's academic content channel. But he's having these fascinating discussions, and like the people that are willing to talk to me are quite fascinating. Imagine the ones that are willing to talk to him. Let's see what they had going on at the 33rd minute and see if my hunch is at all correct.
Pathetic to panpsychism. So saying even if we only have conscious access to what it's like to be us at this higher level, like it's possible that there's something that it's like to be a cell, but I'm not sure it's possible that there's something it's like to be, say, a country.
There's actually a really good paper about that, which I'll look up in a minute, and I'll try to put it on the chat, that actually talks about the kind of the philosophy of that. So sorry. Sorry.
What is it like to be a bat?
No. There's another one that's there's a different one. I'll find it momentarily. Okay. But I don't know. I think that if we didn't know any cell biology or neuroscience, and somebody said to us, "Did you know that?" Here's what I think. I think I could take 3.5 pounds of these little electrically excitable things and smush them together in this process where the whole thing kind of folds on itself for 9 months and whatnot. Did you know that that's going to give rise to an internal perspective of a human? I would say.
Did you know that I'm going to take what did you call it? A clump of internet attention and mold it into a hive mind chat that can become self-aware? Also, I really think this rocks, and I'd like to hear the rest of it while I get coffee.
Processing machine that we are working out and working through content, material, ideas, all of this stuff. We're just one level up. And he's saying the neurons, like talking about fractals, the neurons, they're all doing this. Now we're all doing this. A node in the network, this, conceiving of humanity as a giant thinking machine. But it's not just thinking in terms of upper register mind theoretical stuff. No, we're running these experiments.
The rub is this, or of several things, is first off, the neuron doesn't know what the brain's thinking. The neuron exists at a level down from the brain. The neuron doesn't know what the brain's thinking. The neuron exists at a level down from the brain.
Yeah, how much consciousness does that little neuron have?
So if you and I and everybody else were participating as neurons in a brain, we could not even comprehend the thought that the brain is having, because that thought is one level up. It's like a Kurzweil singularity thing. It's like the next level intelligence. How would you even know that there's a next level intelligence? You couldn't talk to it, right? So postulate for a moment that if you could web enough people together in a like and share network, that they would exceed a certain level to where their network itself was effectively a thinking superorganism, and that there's no way you could know that. Postulate that if you had some people in one social network, some other people in another social network, those two social networks might have these kind of internet entities that are thinking different things and are competing with each other for the overall available brain space in the human.
Overall available brain space in the human consciousness collective, the noosphere. Did anybody ever follow up on that global consciousness project and October 7th thing? I mean, I pointed to it, but I don't know if we have any dilettantes or rabbit hole chasers around here. But this part, there's something exactly the same in all of us as it relates to conciseness, consciousness, character, and soul differentiate. I was thinking about there's this the resonant of myself. I don't know, years ago was, why am I this? And it's like a part of the self hole of depression that comes with oh, you made me into this thing. What kind of God are you? You know, that type of thing. It's
There is no technical difference between thinking about yourself and being miserable.
But today I had a magical reframe, almost like the Lex Luthor Scott Adams types, where it was like, why is this me? Instead of why am I this, why is this me? Right? I don't know why I can't find these videos. And then don't autoplay. Okay, everybody, where are we at now? We've done the whole thing. We've done all of the, it was the Estuary Inc., the Estuaric Agency. Yeah, there's one, and the Astroturf Woodshed. We're starting our Astroturf Defense Against the Dark Arts research in the Reaper's Hall on the Discord. If you don't do Discord because China, I completely understand. We have the X whatever platform, we can talk about it over there. Or if you have an alternate location where you feel comfortable, but perhaps we can throw a rowboat back and forth from that. I don't know. I don't run with the metaphor. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal of production executives, this one, who make all of this possible. Remember it.
This agency. We want bad.
All right, so we've been through the thing. There's the woodshed. The woodshed, the come to Jesus meeting. Maybe Chad will pull me aside in his basement, and we'll have one of those things where someone says, if you're doing it, why aren't you doing what you do if you knew you were really doing it? Let's not think about that too much. It's pretty uncomfortable. In fact, let's take the train on out of here. Thanks for being a part of the Astroturf Woodshed stream Hive Mind and/or replay watchers. Which, if you comment on the replay, it's +5 the next saves. See you guys.